Hello and welcome to this new video. In this video I'm going to show you how to install Windows Server 2019 on VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a free and open source hypervisor developed by Oracle. You can use it to run multiple virtual machines on your machine if you want. So let's see how to install Windows Server 2019 with VirtualBox. So if you have VirtualBox application open, to start the installation or the creation of a new virtual machine, you click on this button here, New, and then you give your virtual machine a name and then a location. This is where the virtual machine files will be stored, and then the type of your virtual machine and the version. For us the type is Microsoft Windows and the version is Windows Server 2019. So we have it here in the list. But if you don't have the version Windows Server 2019 here, it doesn't really matter. Maybe you just need to choose any Windows Server version 64-bit. Then you click Next. On this screen you choose the memory size for your virtual machine. You can choose anything. I'm going to choose around 3 gigabytes, but this can be changed later if you want, so you can put anything and change it if you want later. Now the wizard asks what type of hard disk you want for your virtual machine. So you have 3 options. You can choose to not add a virtual hard disk for this VM, or you can create a virtual hard disk now, or use an existing virtual hard disk. For me, I'm going to choose the default option to create a new virtual hard disk. So then click Create. Then the wizard is going to ask you to choose the hard disk type. I'm going to leave it to default as a VDI file type. Then click Next. On this screen you will be asked to choose the storage type. Is it going to be dynamically allocated as you go, or is it going to be fixed size? So it means that the disk size is going to be pre-allocated. So the best option is to choose dynamically allocated to optimize the storage, of course. Then click Next. But this depends on the type of the virtual machine that you are going to be using and what you want to do with it. So for me it's going to be a test VM, so I don't need to do a fixed size hard disk, but you may want to do that in your scenario. On this screen we choose the size of the hard disk. I'm going to leave it to default 50 gigabytes. Make sure you have free space. But if you choose dynamically allocated, you don't have to have 50 gigabytes in the beginning, but you might need it later. I'm going to click Create. And as you can see, my virtual machine has been created. But we are not done yet. We still have more work to do. Now make sure that your new VM is selected and then click on Settings. Then go to Storage. Click on this icon here which says Empty. So if you click on this disk icon here and then select the option choose file from disk, and then you choose your ISO image for Windows Server 2019, then click Open to open it, and then click OK to save the changes. Now make sure the VM is selected and then click Start to start it. Now the installation is loading the files. and this screen is similar to any Windows operating system installation. The beginning is similar. You will be asked to select the language to install, the time and currency format, and the keyboard input method. So let's do that. So I have only one option for language to install, which is English United States. For the type and currency format, I'm going to choose English UK, and for the keyboard I'm going to keep it United Kingdom, and then click next, and then click install now, and the installation is going to start. Here you should select the operating system you want to install and then click next. Here, as you can see, we have two versions. We have standard and we have data center versions, and each version has two options: with a desktop experience and without a desktop experience. I'm going to choose the standard version with a desktop experience. If you choose this one, you will not have a desktop. So I'm going to click next. On this screen, accept license terms and then click next. On this screen, I'm going to choose this option. On this screen, you can create additional drives and install Windows on one of them. You can also format, delete, and extend the drives in this window. I'm just going to do next. I'm not going to create any new drives, so I'm going to use this whole 50 gig to install my Windows Server 2019. And after this step, Windows Server 2019 is going to be installed. When this step finishes, the device or the virtual machine will reboot in a few seconds. So now it's going to reboot in 5 seconds. This is going to prepare and get Windows Server ready for us. As you can see, we will be asked to create a password for the administrator user. So let's create a password for the administrator user. And let's re-enter the password again. Make sure you remember the password and then click finish. And the installation is finalizing some settings. Now my Windows Server 2019 virtual machine is ready to use. I can log in as the administrator user. I can do input keyboard, insert Control Alt Delete, and type in the password I just created. It's going to take some time to load my user profile. Windows is asking me if I want to allow my PC to be discovered. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to check this and then close it. If you want to change your computer name, click on local server on the server manager, then click on the computer name, as you can see the computer name here is Win RMVM etc. So it's a default name, it's not something that I have set up. So to change it, click on change and then put the computer name you want for your virtual machine. I'm going to use VM Win 2019 as my computer name. I'm not going to add this machine to a domain for the moment, so I'm going to click OK. I get a prompt here saying that you must restart your computer to apply these changes. I'm going to say OK, and then close and choose to restart later. As you can see here, remote desktop is disabled for this virtual machine. I'm going to enable it, so click on the disabled status, click allow remote connection to this computer, click OK, and then click OK to save the changes. And you can click the refresh button here to see that the status has changed to gold. You can also change the Ethernet or the network properties for your virtual machine by clicking on this link here, and then right click on Ethernet and then go to status, properties, click on Internet Protocol version 4, and here you can see that the IP address for this virtual machine is obtained automatically, and the same for the DNS server address. You can change these settings, but I'm not going to do that for the moment. So I'm going to close. But there is one thing I want to do on the VirtualBox side. So go back to the VirtualBox window, select your virtual machine and click on settings. So on the network page, you can change the type of network connection for this virtual machine. For the moment, or by default, it is a NAT connection. I'm going to change it to bridged adapter, which means that this virtual machine is going to use my computer's network card to connect to the outside. It's going to use it as a bridge. So click OK to save the changes. So I'm going to stop here for this tutorial. Of course, we will have more tutorials on Windows Server. So I hope this video has been helpful for you, and thank you for watching.